Liberty process.
This is an instructional disassembly video for the Liberty Process Equipment APM67 close-coupled progressive cavity pump. This pump is sometimes called a Wobble Stator pump. The same pump disassembly procedures are also used for Liberty Process APM pump size 56. For pump sizes APM 15, 33, and 44, please refer to those specific pump disassembly videos and instruction manuals. Here we will fully demonstrate the complete disassembly of the APM67 progressing cavity pump. While repairing, disassembling, or installing the pump, we recommend using the Operations, Maintenance, and Installations Manual for the Liberty AP and APM series pumps and reviewing them before starting any repairs. These are available for view or downloadable at www.libertyprocess.com. These manuals contain the full information on how to properly assemble and disassemble and how to safely operate your Liberty Progressive Cavity APM series Wobble Stator pump. Before we begin, if the pump has been used, we recommend you have flushed and drained the pump of all pump mediums and have a clean repair surface on which to work. Tools required for the APM67 pump disassembly: a flathead screwdriver, a roll pin punch and hammer for slotted spring pins, 2 9/16" wrenches for pump motor mounting bolts, a 1/2" wrench for the drain plug, and a 7/64" Allen wrench for stub shaft set screws. Disassembly of the APM67 progressing cavity pump. For ease of disassembly, stand pump on motor end and secure on a workbench. Using the 9/16" wrench and 1/2" wrench, begin by removing the 6 bolts on the suction and discharge casings. Then remove the pump foot bolts and the pump mounting foot if one is installed. Remove the drain plug using a 1/2" wrench. Once the 6 pump casing bolts are removed, you can lift the suction casing off the pump, exposing the pump stator. Using both hands, remove the pump stator from the pump by lifting it vertically off the pump rotor. The pump rotor, flex joint, and shaft mechanical seal will now be exposed. Using a roll pin punch and hammer, drive the upper slotted spring pin out of the hole in the rotor and then remove the rotor. Look through the side of the discharge casing to view the flex joint. Remove the other pin from the lower end of the flex joint and remove the flex joint spring and mechanical seal assembly. If the mechanical seal assembly becomes stuck during disassembly, you can use a screwdriver through the discharge casing hole to wedge it free. Using a 9/16" wrench, unscrew the 4 bolts from the pump discharge casing from the motor mounting flange and lift the discharge casing off the motor. To remove the stationary face of the mechanical seal from the pump discharge casing, turn the pump discharge casing over. Using your fingers, press out the stationary face of the mechanical seal. If it remains stuck, use a flat-bladed screwdriver to gently pry it loose. Loosen and remove the 2 set screws from the pump stub shaft. Remove the pump stub shaft from the motor shaft. You've now completely disassembled your Liberty APM67 Wobble Stator pump. Assembly of the APM67 Wobble Stator pump. Make sure the pump motor is on a table and secure. Place the pump stub shaft on the motor shaft and seat. Tighten with a 7/64" hex key. Lubricate the outer diameter of the seal stationary face with liquid hand soap. Using your thumbs or a rod and hammer, gently press the stationary face of the seal into the discharge casing until it seats. Install the discharge casing onto the motor, taking care not to damage the seal in the stub shaft. Tighten the discharge casing onto the motor using the 4 9/16" bolts. Install the rotating face of the mechanical seal onto the stub shaft by lubricating the stationary face of the mechanical seal, then sliding the rotating face onto the stub shaft. Place the spring assembly over the stub shaft. Slide the flex joint through the spring and into the stub shaft until it is seated, making sure to align the pin holes. Look through the side of the discharge casing to see that the holes are aligned and start the shorter slotted spring pin, rounded end first, into the hole in the shaft. Install the slotted spring pin using a roll pin punch and hammer. Now, slide the rotor onto the flex joint, making sure to align the holes. Place a cloth or other soft material under the rotor as to not damage the discharge casing. Looking through the top of the suction casing, start the longer slotted spring pin, rounded side first, into the hole in the rotor and install with a roll pin punch and hammer. Lubricate the rotor and interior of the stator with liquid hand soap. Slide the stator, open side down, onto the rotor and push down. The stator will seat itself into the channel on the discharge casing and will act as a seal. Install the suction casing onto the pump assembly. Bolt the suction casing down using the 6 9/16" bolts, saving the 2 largest bolts for the foot assembly. Add the pump drain plug using a 1/2-inch wrench. Bolt down the casing till seated. Add the pump foot assembly to the bottom of the pump for support. Use the 2 largest screws to secure. Your pump is now complete and should be leak tested using water to check the seal for leakage. If no leaks are present, the pump can now be reinstalled into the pump system. Feel free to celebrate accordingly. If you have any questions about or require spare parts for the repair of your Liberty Process APM pump, please contact us at www.libertyprocess.com. We always have complete pumps and all spare parts in our inventory ready to ship the same day.